Ben, a math student at MIT, got into Harvard, but he can't pay the $300,000 tuition. He tries for a scholarship that would pay for everything, but he's told only one of 76 applicants will win it. Even though he has good grades and test scores, there's tough competition. He has to write an essay, and the director says the scholarship will only go to the student who impresses him the most. Ben works at a men's clothing store with his close friend Miles and gets a job as an assistant manager, earning $8 per hour. He confides in Miles about the essay and his struggle to come up with a topic, as he hasn't accomplished anything extraordinary. Ben is upset because, despite excelling in exams, participating in extracurricular activities, and making sacrifices, the sole obstacle preventing him from attending Harvard is finances. They gather at a bar with their friend Cam to mark Ben's birthday. The three of them are working on a science contest where they're creating a car that can drive itself. Meanwhile, at MIT, Professor Mickey Rosa is delivering a talk on complex equations. He quizzes the class about Newton's approach, and Ben points out that Newton took the idea from Joseph Raphson, who had introduced the same method half a century earlier. The professor is amazed and offers Ben an opportunity for additional points, so he presents Ben with the Monty Hall problem, which he solves correctly. When the class concludes, the professor reviews Ben's latest test score, which is 97%. Ben, Miles, and Cam are at a gym, engaged in a game of basketball. Ben spots a girl he's interested in, Jill. She waves at him, and he waves back, only to discover she was waving to someone behind him. Later that day, as Ben is studying, a fellow student approaches and asks to shadow him. Ben is a little puzzled but agrees to let the student follow him. He's taken to a room with a few students sitting around a blackjack table, and Professor Rosa is at a blackboard. He encourages Ben to call him Mickey and extends an invitation for Ben to become part of the MIT blackjack team. Ben is introduced to the team, including members like Kiana, Fisher, Choi, and Jill. They clarify that blackjack can be mastered and reveal that they head to Las Vegas every weekend and holiday. There's an open spot on their team because a former member landed a job at Google. Ben is apprehensive because he's afraid of stepping outside his comfort zone. Jill encourages him by saying, "Come on, Ben, it will be enjoyable." They exchange words, with Ben coming up with reasons why he can't participate, and Mickey attempting to persuade him. However, Ben ultimately declines. The next day, Jill visits him at work, claiming to be shopping for a tie. Ben tries to assist her in choosing one, but she's actually there to make another attempt at convincing him, urging him to explore new experiences in life. Finally, Ben decides to join the blackjack club and begins to learn the system. They use a system where high-value cards are worth -1, neutral cards have no value, and low cards are valued at +1. Ben practices card counting and memorizes the code words assigned by the team for each high count. Later, at a bar, they describe the roles of each team member. Kiana, Choi, and Jill are the spotters. They sit at different blackjack tables and only bet the minimum while keeping track of the card count. When one of the tables reaches a hot count, indicating the player has an advantage over the dealer, they signal Ben or Fisher, who are the big players. Ben and Fisher then pretend to be drunken, wealthy individuals and make substantial bets at the table. When the deck becomes less favorable, the big player departs from the table. Ben participates in a trial run in a questionable alleyway. He enters an underground casino where his spotters are already seated at different tables. Choi signals to him that the deck is hot, and Ben takes a seat at the table. To convey that the count is +17, Choi uses the word magazine in a sentence, and Ben starts making substantial bets. He's winning a considerable amount and feels thrilled, constantly wearing a smile. Suddenly, a bag is thrown over his head, and he's forcibly taken to a back room. A deep voice repeatedly asks him, "What's the count?" He relents and reveals that the count is +18. It turns out this was a test to determine if he can maintain the count under pressure, and he is formally accepted into the team. The following day, they travel to Las Vegas. They check into a hotel suite where Mickey assigns each team member a new identity and provides them with disguises. Additionally, Mickey instructs Ben to act as if they don't know each other, always order water, tonic, and lime, and appear somewhat inebriated. At the Red Rock Casino, Kiana sends a signal to Ben. He glances to his right and spots Fisher and Choi at the adjacent table. He joins the game, exchanging $10,000 for chips. Kiana exclaims, "Too sweet," which signifies that the count is +16. On his first hand, Ben doubles down on eights, and the dealer goes over 21, resulting in Ben winning and already earning $4,000. In the next hand, he receives a blackjack and adds another $3,000 to his winnings. Ben continues to play at various tables in the casino, accumulating chips as he goes. Witnessing Ben's substantial winnings, Fisher gazes in astonishment. The following day, Jill wakes up Ben and hands him his share of the earnings. She commends his performance, noting that he responded quickly to the count, wasn't afraid to make large bets, exited at the right time, and earned more money than Fisher. A team meeting is called, but Fisher arrives inebriated. Mickey is furious because on 3 occasions, Fisher continued to play even when the spotters had indicated it was a bad deck. Mickey acknowledges Ben's good work and encourages him to maintain his performance. Fisher dismisses Ben's success as beginner's luck and refuses to admit he played incorrectly, but Mickey rebukes him firmly. Ben returns to his dorm room and hides his weekend earnings, a total of $16,700, in the ceiling tiles. Suddenly, Miles and Cam enter the room, and Ben pretends he's just bouncing on the bed. Miles inquires about Ben's whereabouts during the weekend and mentions he called numerous times. Ben invents a story about helping a cousin move and claims he left his cell phone behind. The 3 of them decide to head to a bar for some drinks. Ben notices Jill at the counter and offers to purchase a beer for her. His 2 friends are taken aback and can't stop staring at them. Ben approaches them and asks them to stop acting oddly so as not to make Jill uncomfortable. Ben and Jill find themselves on a train. He questions whether she came to the store to recruit him for the team because Mickey asked her to. She replies that he's the most intelligent person she knows, which is why he's part of the team and why she visited the store. Ben attempts to kiss her, but she withdraws. Feeling embarrassed, Ben begins to apologize, but she reassures him not to worry and explains that she just doesn't want to complicate things. In the following weekends, the team is flown to Las Vegas Valley, and Ben begins to relish the extravagant life of a high roller. However, there's one thing that he can't shake from his thoughts. Every trip allows him to earn more money than he did in 5 years at his previous job. In Boston, he's just Ben Campbell, but in Vegas, he can become anyone he desires. It all seemed too good to be true, like it would never come to an end. The head of security, Cole Williams, keeps a close watch on the team and begins to focus on Ben, suspecting he might be counting cards. Interestingly, Cole is also a card counter but prefers to be on the other side of the game. For the first time in Ben's life, everything was smooth sailing. Nothing was too costly, and nothing was beyond his reach. College parties with fraternity guys were upgraded to more exciting experiences. Fisher becomes increasingly envious of Ben's success, and one day, while inebriated, he joins Ben's table and starts dropping hints that they have a connection. Simultaneously, Williams watches them on surveillance footage and observes that Gianna consistently bets the minimum at the table, and Ben only joins after she signals him. He goes to approach them, but Fisher creates a disturbance, causing them to leave before Williams can reach them. Later, at a bar, Mickey decides to expel Fisher from the team. He informs the remaining members that the casino is replacing their chips within 24 hours, necessitating a cash exchange. However, they can't do this due to Fisher's disruptive behavior. Ben suggests they employ the dancers to help them exchange the chips for cash. Mickey compliments him as a genius for the idea. Later that day, Jill invites Ben to her suite, and they share a romantic evening and become intimate. Ben's newly acquired secret life causes him to neglect his responsibilities in the science competition, creating a rift between him and his friends. He arrives late to a meeting with them and provides the wrong component for their project. They express their disappointment, claiming that he isn't as dedicated to the project as they are, and decide to continue without him. During their next trip to Las Vegas, Ben is emotionally preoccupied, and he experiences an unfortunate outcome in a significant hand. His emotions get the best of him, causing him to disregard Gianna's signal to leave the table. Jill attempts to intervene and help him depart, but her efforts are in vain. Consequently, he ends up losing an additional $200,000. Mickey is incensed, and even though Ben apologizes, asserting it's his first mistake, and others attempt to defend him, Mickey decides to depart from the team. He insists that Ben will have to find a way to make amends for the $200,000 he lost. Ben and the remaining team members make the decision to carry on with their blackjack endeavors without Mickey, who previously took a 50% share of their earnings. Jill is opposed to the idea, pointing out that Ben's initial motivation was solely to pay for Harvard, but even though he has amassed sufficient funds, he now wants to continue. They return to the tables and find success, but Mickey is lurking in the shadows and alerts the casino's security to their activities. Williams brings Ben to a secluded room and physically assaults him while revealing that all casinos will soon employ face recognition software, making his days in the business numbered regardless. Ben also learns that Williams and Mickey share a history. Williams used to pursue and assault Mickey as well, which is the reason Mickey no longer participates personally. Ben returns to MIT and receives a letter stating that he is ineligible for graduation because one of his courses, taught by an associate of Mickey's, is marked as incomplete. He enters his dorm room and discovers it in shambles. The money he had been saving is nowhere to be found. He has lost everything. He visits Jill, expressing his desire not to lose her as well, and offers his apologies for his actions in Vegas. Miles and Cam manage to secure victory in the robotics competition even without Ben's participation, and he is there to witness it. Ben apologizes to Miles for letting him down and provides a full explanation of everything he has been involved in. Ben pays a visit to Mickey and convinces him to embark on one last trip to Vegas before the casinos implement biometric software. This time, they decide to use disguises, and Mickey will return as the second big player. They find themselves in a casino, placing significant bets, accumulating chips, and relishing the moment. They manage to earn a substantial profit of $640,000 before Williams makes an unexpected appearance. Jill signals to them, and they quickly gather, hastily stashing chips in a bag before making a swift getaway. A chase unfolds, with them darting through slot machines and eventually entering the staff-only area. Here, Mickey persuades Ben to toss him the bag of chips and advises they should split up. Mickey successfully exits the area and climbs into a waiting limo. Filled with elation, he believes he's made a clean getaway with all the money. However, as he opens the bag, he discovers that the chips are counterfeit. Ben had replaced the genuine chips with fakes while they were on the run. It emerges that Williams has harbored a long-standing grudge against Mickey, stemming from the fact that the last time he encountered Mickey, he escaped with substantial winnings. So, Williams struck a deal with Ben to entice Mickey back to Vegas, with the intention of apprehending him. In return, Ben would be permitted to retain their day's earnings. However, when Ben and Jill leave the casino, Williams approaches them and clarifies that he requires the money for his retirement. He contends that someone as intelligent as Ben will find a way to succeed, and he takes the bag at gunpoint. The limo that Mickey boarded had been arranged by Williams, and he's transported to the same room where Ben was once held. Interestingly, Ben's longtime friends are also skilled at card counting, and the six-person team continues to earn substantial money. When Ben recounts this narrative to the scholarship director, the director appears to be genuinely impressed by the story. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification, so you can watch more video like this. Thanks for watching.